Hello, my name is Colin, and today I'm going to be ranking the 7 comic book movies released in 2018. These were all the wide releases in theaters, and I've been wanting to do this for a few weeks now. I've just had other stuff going on. I know it's late January in 2018. This video is a few weeks late, but still, it's better late than never. And you can also tell me what your list was down in the comment section below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and as always, subscribe to my channel, Classic Fanboy, as I do weekly reviews and comic, Game of Thrones, and Star Wars related stuff. So I can't wait to get into this list. Now, coming in at number 7 is Venom. Venom was the only one that I never tried to do a review for. I saw it a few weeks late, and I was just really in a bad mood after seeing it, because even though I wasn't that excited, I was really disappointed and frustrated, because Eddie Brock, Venom, has always been my favorite Spider-Man villain. I'm a huge fan of the character, and in concept, Tom Hardy is one of my favorite actors working today. And I really thought that this could work, but it really didn't. Tom Hardy's performance is one of the better parts of the film, but this is probably my least favorite performance of his. And that's saying a lot on how great an actor Tom Hardy is, because performance is still decent. And I don't think it's his fault. I blame the director with the dialogue and the script he was given. There are lots of unneeded exposition throughout the movie. It really meanders in the first 30 minutes. Like, Symbiote and Eddie Brock don't meet till like 30 minutes into the film for no reason. You don't really have a clear arc for Eddie Brock, and it clearly shows that this film needed one, as he doesn't really feel like a proper protagonist. And there is an arc for the symbiote, but it's all off screen in the first 30 minutes of the movie. Some of the side characters had some decent performances, and the action was... The editing didn't look too good, and it wasn't well shot. The symbiote effects didn't look very good. I don't think it looked realistic, and I'm a comic fan, so I know a lot about the symbiote, but the film didn't explain it too good on how the two meshed together. And in the third act, just the final fight, really cheesy. So, there's some humor that really falls flat, but it's actually a really fun time because it's kind of laughably bad. I don't hate it, but I think it's bad. It's like so bad it's enjoyable, but it's actually really boring at parts. But yeah, I'd probably rather rewatch Spider-Man 3, because Venom, I know some people did enjoy it and thought it was so bad it's good, but for me it was just overall a mess. Now, coming in at number... what was it? Damn it. 6 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp, when I saw it in the theater, thought it was above average. Like, it's not the worst Marvel movie, but I was pretty disappointed by it, because I've always been a huge fan of the Ant-Man character. Ant-Man and the Wasp are two of my favorite characters from the comics, and I feel like their powers and stuff like that have been portrayed well in the film. But even the first Ant-Man, it plays it very safe. And the jokes are really funny. I love Paul Rudd in the role of Ant-Man, but just doesn't take too many risks. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't think it should have been released after Infinity War, because it really took away from the tension. Now, I did have lots of fun watching it, and I actually think it's better after a second viewing. I wouldn't say it's above average. I'd say it's pretty good now. I actually might like it more than the first, but I don't know. I'm still kind of disappointed with it, because after Infinity War, which was such a big game changer for Marvel, it just didn't feel right to have a movie that played it very safe. I didn't like the villain, Ghost, very much. I thought her performance was very clunky. I did have a lot of fun watching it. The jokes were consistently funny, and me and my friend were laughing a lot throughout the film. But overall, it just... I don't know. The action was entertaining. It was just a fun, dumb comic book movie, and I guess that's all I needed from an Ant-Man film, but it could have been more. Now, coming in at number 5 is Aquaman. I really liked Aquaman, but I didn't love it like some people did. It made like $1 billion in theaters, which is insane. I've been really disappointed with the DCU so far, especially Justice League, Batman v Superman, and especially Suicide Squad, but I thought Aquaman was pretty satisfying and entertaining. James Wan's a director I'm a huge fan of, and his visual style looked really good in the movie. Good use of practical effects, the action was entertaining, and I, for the most part, liked the story. There were a few cheesy elements, especially in the beginning. Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, they could have had better chemistry. Jason Momoa was actually really charismatic in here. Charismatic, I meant charismatic, but, no, I thought he did a great job. I was pretty underwhelmed by Black Manta as a villain, because he's one of my favorite... He's definitely my favorite Aquaman villain. but I actually really loved Orm in the movie, Aquaman's brother. I liked what he stood for, I thought he had good motivation, and I really liked the performance from the actor. So, Aquaman was a really fun time. It's not a comic book masterpiece like Wonder Woman, but I thought it was back on track for the DCU, where we could at least have a pretty good, dumb fun movie. Now, coming in at number 4 is Deadpool 2. I was really excited for Deadpool 2. I did trailer reactions and videos explaining Cable. Huge fan of Cable and Deadpool, two of my favorite characters in comics. And I was pretty disappointed with Cable as a character. I thought Josh Brolin, thought he did a great job, but the writing for him was kind of lacking. I really didn't like the decision of killing off Vanessa. There was some good emotional depth there, but some of the writing there was clunky. But overall, I did love it because I thought the humor was really good. It felt more like a Deadpool comic than the first one. The first one is by far superior, but I love Ryan Reynolds' performance. I like the style. There are a few good comic jokes in there, but it just could have been a little bit better. Still a great movie. Just not one of the best X-Men movies. Like, it's no masterpiece like Deadpool. And Logan is still by far and away the best of the X-Men movie, probably because it doesn't even really fit into. So Deadpool 2, it could have been better, but overall I thought it was a great movie because of pure enjoyment and personal preference. Alright, now, huge jump here. These next 3 to me are really damn great movies. 3 comic book masterpieces, and I'd say they all are gonna make my top 10 of the year. Maybe one will miss off or something. Now, coming in at number 3 is Black Panther. Now, I actually thought this was going to be number 2, but the more I thought about it, my number 2 I like a little bit more than Black Panther. Guys, if you saw my review for Black Panther, I'm a huge fan. It's easily one of my favorite MCU movies. Killmonger, at the time, was my favorite villain in the MCU. Michael B. Jordan gives a great performance as Killmonger. Ryan Coogler gives great direction, and the cinematography, production design, it's the first superhero movie to ever get nominated for Best Picture. And there definitely are better superhero films before it, writing-wise, but I think production design-wise, costume design, and filmmaking-wise, I think it probably deserves the nominations that it's been getting. And the music and the soundtrack, the score is really great, lots of great editing. Love T'Challa as a character. I love Okoye. Diana Gunray gave a great performance. I loved T'Challa's sister Shuri. Thought she did a great job. And overall, I liked the feel that it had. I like the idea that we can still have some more grounded stuff in the MCU on Earth, because not everything needs to be like in space on some huge scale. And I thought Wakanda was introduced in a really convincing way. So overall, I absolutely adored Black Panther. Easily one of my favorite comic movies of all time. Now, coming in at number 2 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you saw my review recently, I absolutely love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And the more I thought about it in the past 2 weeks, so good. Coming out of it, I'm like, this is either my favorite Spider-Man movie, or it's a close second to Spider-Man 2. And after rewatching Spider-Man 2, I'd say I like Spider-Verse just a little bit more. I love Miles Morales and the way he's introduced all the characters. Haley Steinfeld gave a great performance as Spider-Gwen. I like this little iteration of Peter Parker. Like, whenever they do an older version of Peter Parker, it never works for me because I like the idea of him as a kid, but I really liked this one. Kingpin was a great villain. The animation looked great. And sure, I guess some of the characters might not all fit into the story, but it's not character-driven. It's a little more story-driven. The animation is beautiful, and this is a huge game changer for both animated and superhero movies. I was a huge fan of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, had a blast with it as a Spider-Man fan, and it's easily my favorite animated movie of the year. Now, coming in at number 1, what else could it be? It is Avengers Infinity War. I fucking loved Avengers Infinity War. Coming out of it, I was like, alright, this is a lot to process, but I fucking love this movie. Like, I want to do a new review before Endgame comes out, because just with everything, Infinity War, you can't process it after one viewing. It's a hard movie to process, because I'm going to spoil some stuff here. You know what my number 1 is, it's Infinity War. This is my favorite comic book movie of the year. But, originally, I did not like some certain character decisions, like Star-Lord kind of freaking out at Thanos and kind of ruining their chance to get the gauntlet off, but I now understand that because he's acting emotionally. And there's some stuff that might not, they might appear as plot holes on your first viewing, but I've seen this movie probably 6 or 7 times now, And the experience I had in the theater of it with my friend next to me, everybody was cheering when Black Panther and Spider-Man were on screen. The jokes landed, the Russos, that tight writing. But what really puts this all the way at number one for me, by far, is easily Thanos. They nailed Thanos. Great motivation, great character development, and the ending sequence, oh my god, so sad. When Spider-Man died, that really hit me. And you see Thanos on just looking off into the sunset, knowing he won, goes out like a badass. My god, Thanos is easily Marvel's best villain to date. And it's hard for me because you can't really judge it as like a cohesive film. That was one of the things that, those are one of the little things that bothered me in my first viewing. I still probably would have given it a perfect rating at the time, but it gets better and better the more you watch it. And sure, it's not like the most complete Marvel movie, but Guardians 1 was my favorite for a while. I'll have to wait till Endgame comes out, but this might be my new favorite. It's easily one of my top 5 favorite movies of the year. I absolutely loved Avengers Infinity War. All the actors did a great job together. So much charisma. And just the way it blends everything together. It really feels like a comic book, which, like, how did they pull this off? Fitting all these characters into one big film and making it all fit. It's all used well. I loved Avengers Infinity War. It's so good. If you don't love Infinity War, come on, man. It's a cinematic masterpiece. I'll probably go watch it right now as soon as the video's done. Alright guys, so that was my video for today. Let me know what your ranking is in the comment section. Did you like this video? Please give it a thumbs up and make sure to share this video with your friends. As always guys, thank you for watching and I will hasta la vista.